I wanted to start this all by myself, and I asked Suzanne if I could, and she said okay. Because, well, sometimes I like talking more than she does even, but I think it's important that I start because it's about me, actually. So, really, so this is a story about some healing trick that I learned. No, sorry, let me start over. Okay, so I learned something about healing that I think is important. Well, I did learn it, but really Suzanne learned it in school, which is ironic because usually school is kind of not good for learning. Actually, it's a place where you really you kind of what's the word? What am I trying to say? You know how you have like creativity, and creativity is all about experimenting and making mistakes and trying things and doing things that come from inside of you, like from this part, like in your heart, And school is the opposite of that because you have grades and you have to do what you're told or else you get a bad grade, and it's very bad for creativity. But sometimes you learn something on accident, and this is what happened for Suzanne, and she thought maybe she could share, but I'm better at talking, so I'm gonna start. This has to do with ancestral trauma, and there's so much to say, but there is this book, and it's called It Didn't Start With You. It's by someone named Mark something. What is his name again? Mark Woylnn. My hair is Woylnn. Yeah, but I think that's his name. I forget, but it doesn't matter. You can look it up if you want. So it's called It Didn't Start With You, and it's about how we get some trauma in the DNA that comes down. I don't have DNA because I'm a puppet, but like humans have DNA. Yeah, like even dogs can have that too. So, but let's talk about humans right now. So it's really, this book was for humans only, not dogs, but it can happen with dogs too, okay? But let's just talk about humans. So this was what can happen. So this guy who wrote the book, he had these clients that he was working with, and he said that, yeah, so he said that you can, so his clients had these weird like fears or phobias, or like sometimes something will repeat itself in people's lives, and then they realize, oh this happened to my mom, this happened to my mom, and this happened to my grandma, and it happened to my great-grandma, and it could be something really specific, like you got in a plane crash when you were 33. There was something like that in the book for every generation. Or sometimes it's like a fear that you have, that someone has, that doesn't really have anything to do with their own life story. Do you know what I mean? And then they learn about their like great-grandparents or grandparents, and they realize, oh my God, this is really about their trauma, not even my trauma, and I got it inside me somehow, and then now I have this weird phobia, and it's really about what they went through. Is that making sense? So yeah, and then what you can do is you do the ceremony, and Mark, this author, he has all this ceremony examples or things that you can do, because then you can honor the ancestor, the person. You honor them and you say, I see you, I see your trauma, and then then the problem gets resolved, and that's how the healing works. And so what happened, that what I wanted to talk about now, is that Suzanne did this in the class that she was in and learned all about it. And then what they did, this is where I come in. This is my part. I come in because so this was the assignment, was to make some kind of creative, because it's art therapy, so you got to be creative and make stuff. So so all the classmates made some kind of art project that represented their family tree, and it could be whatever you want. So Suzanne made puppets of everybody in the family tree. Well, just actually the grandparents and the aunts and uncles and her parents and siblings and her, and I was her. So I'm Suzanne, but not really. I'm a puppet, but I got to play some different roles. But I was really special because I also got to play her great-grandmother, Bet. Bet is her great-grandmother, and she learned all about Bet, and so I got to be Bet for one day, and then later I was Suzanne, so I played some different roles. But then there's all these other puppets, and it's a little bit hard to show all the puppets because, well, there's only 2 hands. See, I have 2 hands, and Suzanne has 2 hands, so, well, but you'll get to see them. Don't worry, you'll get to see them. We'll do some editing or something, I don't know. So, okay. So, that's what happened. So there's puppets for everybody. Everybody's a puppet. So there's the siblings, there's 2 sisters, and the mom and the dad, and the aunts and the uncles, and the grandparents on both sides. And everybody's a puppet, and you'll see later. And, but this is the cool part. This is the story about healing. So in this class we read through all the ceremonies, and in this book, It Didn't Start With You, by the Mark guy. Well, there's little exercises, and you can pick out, no, you not really pick out, you do the exercises, and then what happens is you find out your, I can't really do quotes because my fingers are stuck together, but let's pretend I'm doing quotes. So it's like your core sentence. Yeah, so it's like Mark says, everyone has like a core sentence that they kind of carry around with them. And it's like they're kind of sad. It's like a sad sentence. It's supposed to be like a sad sentence. And so, but you figure it out. You don't just think of it off the top of your head. You figure it out because there's these little exercises. You can find your core sentence. And Suzanne found her core sentence, and it was, what was it? I'm alone in the world. Yeah, because this is serious business, so it's not a joke. Don't laugh. This is like, we're talking about trauma, okay? So this is, the sentence is, I'm alone in the world. That was Suzanne's core sentence because, she's estranged from her whole entire family and not really close to any of the relatives either, right? And the marriage is not happening, and the relationships have been just, I would say, pretty bad, huh? Just not great. Just one after another, just not working out well at all. So you're alone in the world. So that's the core sentence. So this is not a sad video. This is a happy video. It's about healing. So we're going to talk about what happened. And what happens is you can do like a ceremony about it, and also learn about your ancestors. And so so Suzanne, she learned all about her family history from her uncle and her aunt. Uncle on the dad's side, dad's brother, and mom's sister. And she learned all about that family history, and that's how she learned about Bet. The great-grandmother came over to America from the Netherlands in 1923 or something, and she was a young mother with little kids, and she had a husband who was a drunk, I guess, basically, and was not a very supportive husband, and so she just, I think she felt alone in the world, and she came here to New York, like so many people did, and then she went to Chicago and tried to make a life for herself, but she was very unhappy, and she felt very alone in the world, and her mom died when she was young, and she was raised by a mean stepmother, and that's really a sad story, and that got passed down through the generations to Suzanne, and so then that was the story, and that feeling I'm alone in the world that was just with Suzanne for so long, and that came from that generational trauma, the ancestral trauma. Yeah. So this is the cool part, though, because you can honor the ancestor, and you can say, I see you, and I see your trauma, and there's some different ceremonies that you can do. And then what I thought was really neat, so then we had a puppet show with all of the people in Suzanne's family, like I said, and we did ceremonies in the puppet show. It was a puppet show ceremony, and all the classmates participated. But what I thought was really neat was that Suzanne told me this. She said that I don't have a body because I'm made of cloth, but Suzanne has a body, and bodies are really cool because you can feel things inside them, and they have all this information. Like you can have like a sensation, like a tingling feeling. This is what I heard anyways, I don't know. But I heard that if you have a body, sometimes you'll get like a tingling feeling, and it means something. Like it's really strange. I don't understand it because I'm just made of cotton fabric, which is cool too. I like cotton, and like I said, I have wool hair, so that's really cool, but I don't feel those sensations, and it's really mysterious to me. But what I heard happens is that, so Suzanne told me that like when she would like sort of talk to Bet, that great-grandmother, she would get like a tingling sensation in her body, and it was like Bet was like saying, yes, I see you. I'm connected with you. I accept, or thank you for acknowledging my trauma. Something like that. It felt like in Suzanne's body. So, and then I think what happened was Suzanne didn't really know what else to do, but there was this cool thing that happened last summer, and there was like a podcast, you know how they're just talking on the internet and talking about stuff, and there was a podcast that Suzanne really liked. It was called from Outside Magazine, The Daily Rally. It was that podcast, and and she was listening to it and crying because it's so beautiful, but stories about healing and stuff. And then you could like write them and say, I have a story, I want to be on it. And so Suzanne did that, and then they emailed her and said, yeah, come be on it. And so she did, and they talked to her about her story, and she told me all about this. She said that it was like she was talking to this girl, this woman, you know, Sarah, the person who worked for Outside magazines, talking to her about her story, and then there was just like this kind of blurt. You know when you have like a blurt, it's just blah. Like you just say something and it's just like you didn't even maybe think about it beforehand or something, you know? And so there was like this blurt, and it was like she was saying, you know, when you awaken to the reality that like the world is alive, and the trees and the animals and the rocks and Mother Earth, it's like everything's alive, you know. I'm a puppet, so I don't know, that's maybe, let's not get into that. Cotton is a plant and wool comes from sheep, but maybe I have a spirit, I don't know, but let's just talk about Mother Earth right now, okay, because this is confusing. But okay, so Mother Earth is alive, and you can like really connect, and it's real, you know what I mean? And so she was talking about that, and then she said, just this was the blurt part. She just said, like, once you realize that, it's really hard to feel alone in the world. And she didn't even think about it beforehand, you know, it was just like the blurt, you know, blurt. And so that's what happened. And then Sarah, the person who interviewed her, she made that be the last sentence in the interview. And the last sentence is supposed to be like mic drop, you know what I mean? Like mic drop, like it's the end. And that was an accident, just came out of her mouth. And then later in the year, like way afterwards, she put that together, and it was like, oh my God, that was my core sentence, but now it's healed. You know what I'm trying to say here? So it was really like amazing, because yeah, I mean, she didn't even mean to say that really, and it just came out, and then there was like this healing. Yeah, so it's just really cool, because this is something everybody can do, like find that core sentence, learn about your family history and the ancestors, and then have like a ceremony and acknowledge them and the stuff they went through. Everybody's been through hard stuff, okay? Everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. This world is crazy. Like, there's just hard stuff. It's just everywhere. It's just hard stuff, okay? So, yeah, so there's going to be hard stuff in there if you learn about your family history. There just is, okay? So you can do those ceremonies, and you can honor the ancestors that you have in your family history, and then these really, it's like magic, you know. I don't know, it's like maybe it's a miracle, but it's a really beautiful thing, and it's very powerful. And sometimes I hear about people who have like you know, like, I don't know, depression or anxiety, or it's like stuff that's like, you know, it's like what what Mark would talk about in that book, and then they don't know how to heal it. And I just think this could be, yeah, helpful for some people. It's worth a try anyways, right? I mean, why not? So yeah, I think that's, you know, really a beautiful thing. And that's all really. That's all I wanted to share. But I think that there's a lot to this story, and that's just the basics. You know, that's like the core story. There's the core sentence. There's the core story. So it's really fun to learn that, and you could try it at home. You can. It's okay. Just try it. You know, learn about your family history. Read Mark's book. It didn't start with you, and then you know, talk to your ancestors. It's okay. Just tell them that you love them and that you see them and acknowledge what they went through, and it's just a good thing to do. So just do it, okay? So if you want, of course, but okay. That's all. Bye. 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 Thanks for listening. That's really cool that you listened.